All right, Gianna, so nice to speak with you today. I did want to just preface by saying that our paths have crossed in the past. You worked for a client that I actually staff, and I've always heard, really wonderful things about you, your professionalism, your work ethic, and everything that you've done. So I understand that you were with that company for about 4 years. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the work that you did there, please?
So it was for a law firm. Um, I was the accounting department, and as the law firm grew, it needed to be more than just myself. So we made a team. I trained the team and broke it into separate sections as far as subrogation, which is for personal injury, um, a lot of the medical portion of it, just assisting so that I could oversee it as a whole and help in other areas as far as preparing for litigation, preparing all the documents, checking all the numbers. So I was the number person. I was um, the one that oversaw it all. And I was the voice that got to speak to all the customers to let them know where it stood and what was going on.
Okay. So when you say you were the numbers person, talk to me more about that. What does that mean?
So it would create a spreadsheet that broke down everything. So it would have, so if the law firm was going into negotiations or into any kind of legal talks, they had actual numbers on a spreadsheet which broke down even the fees, what medical costs were incurred, um, anything that was going to have to be taken out of a potential settlement. So if there was a baseline that would they would know what the client was going to receive in pocket at the
Okay.
end.
And what system were you using to do all of that? You mentioned a
Excel.
spreadsheet.
So yeah, so it was all done online
Okay.
with Google Sheets, Google Documents, all of that. So it was able to be shared in real time. I would even type in little notes off to the side for the attorneys, um, so that if they had a question, they could literally use that sheet to ask me a question I can answer in real time.
Perfect. And then you were also using QuickBooks?
Correct.
Okay. Was that desktop or online?
Desktop.
Desktop.
I
Okay.
have honestly never used QuickBooks online.
Okay.
Um,
Now to do all the things that you did in Excel, I would imagine your Excel skills are you know, I would say it more than intermediate.
yes.
Fair. Okay. Can you do, calculations and, work your way around, different formulas and such in Excel?
I am all right. So I'll say I'm so with the formulas. Once I
Okay.
get them in there, it's great.
Okay.
I'm probably just a little bit slower with the formulas, more because I'm very meticulous
Okay.
and I don't want to make any errors. I'm very numbers oriented anyway.
Okay.
So when doing something like that, I like to take my time and, make sure that I'm not making any errors. So yes, I can do it, but I'm very slow.
Okay.
But once it's in there and, you know,
And that's where the speed comes in.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, now, so you got this position that you had for the past couple of years based on your bookkeeping experience, if you will.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit. Tell me where you did a lot of bookkeeping. Were you doing AP? Were you doing AR? Tell me about all of that.
So I had my own bookkeeping business based out of New York for many, many years, very long time ago. Believe I want to say it started in 1996. Um, and it started doing bookkeeping for a construction company for a little more for the subcontractors. Then the general contractor recognized what I was doing and asked for me to come and help him. He had some IRS issues going on, and the people that I was doing the bookkeeping for were actually his well, I don't want to say employees because we made them be subcontractors, not employees.
Mm.
So I went in and I fixed it. Basically, I had to go back from the start of the company and manually enter everything into QuickBooks, do the ledgers, get everything organized. He had stuff in boxes. He literally had
Oh my
$10,000
goodness.
check sitting in a box that he didn't even realize he had.
Oh,
Um,
so you
it was,
uncovered actually some money for him, huh?
oh, it was a huge in the end. So what I did was I suggested that these people that working underneath him, not employees, have them all get their own subcontractor, DBAs or whatever they needed to do to be subcontractors. And then I would assist them with their bookkeeping as far as, their taxes at the end of the year and everything else, so that
Mhm.
everybody was going to benefit from this. And once everything was said and done, I did the audit. Um, Instead of him owing the government a ridiculous amount of money, they actually owed him. So he
Oh,
bought me a car. It
okay.
was awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
that is definitely a win-win. And I understand in between that you also worked for a very well-known tax agency. You did taxes.
I did. I worked for H&R Block. They generally bring in people, at tax time, not, year round, but at tax time, and help to prepare people's personal taxes.
Okay, perfect.
I've also done it on my own once tax time comes. If people need assistance, I help get them prepared.
Sure. Okay. Next opportunity, something local. You live here in Daytona.
Yes.
Okay, great. And if you were to start at a new company, when would that be?
As of the 1st of August, I'm able to start.
Okay, perfect. All right, Gianna, don't go anywhere. I got a few more things to talk about.
Okay.